Hello, I'm going to show you a little bit in this video about how to get some angles going in two different ways. So if the first way is what I've got on the screen at the moment. So what we're looking at here is kind of looks like a triangle, a three-dimensional triangle, triangular prism. And if we just have a look at it from the top, we can see that it's 10, 20, 30 in that direction. It's got a 90 degree here. And it's 10, 20, 30 in that direction, and it's whatever on that angle there. Okay, so how have we made that? Let's have a little look at the code here and see what's gone on. So what it appears to be is that it's one of these differences, like we saw when we actually dug out a pool for our first time, is that there is some object, this cube, and then we are chopping away some other object. So just to make it a bit clearer what this looks like, I'll just separate those and we'll redraw it. So what you see here is that there is this initial shape, and then there is this rectangle on an angle that's basically acting as our knife to cut across it. Okay, and just to make that even a little bit clearer, I'll just color it a different color. Okay, so we can clearly see that that is a big rectangle. And if we look over here at the code, that's where the rectangle is made. So it's a centered rectangle that is 60 by 40 by 30. And then it is rotated, okay? And you can see that I've rotated this nothing in X, nothing in Y, and everything in the Z, the 45 in the Z. So what that really means is that you've got this kind of like skewer down the middle here. Okay, that's the Z axis, the up and down axis. And that is the thing that's getting rotated around. So once the skewer is stuck in there, we try to rotate the rectangle around it, and this one's been done by 45 degrees. All right, so when we put that into the difference, it's going to say that initial pink cube, which actually cuts through here a little bit, is now going to have this green cube cut off it. So let's just check what that looks like. And now that I've made it green, you can see I've got a green face there, but we get the shape that I was just talking about. Okay, so that was one way of getting these angles, is to take a shape you already got and cut away a rotated shape from it. The other way is under this black section, which is experimental. Okay, so there are three types of triangles here. What they basically mean is S stands for side, so this is using three sides to make a triangle. Makes a bit of sense. This one is about using a side and then an angle and then a side, and that can create it. And this one is if you wanted to use an angle and then a side and then a side. So I'll just show you probably one or two of those today. I'm going to show you this one because I think this is probably the easiest one to use. I'll just hide this so it's not getting in our way, just disable it for now. So I'll render it and we can try to make sense about what's going on. Okay, so it's quite a small triangle. Let's zoom in a little bit there. It's got a length of 10, and then it's got an angle of 30 degrees, and then it's got a length of 10. And this is only a prism that's one high, so I could make this a lot higher and it wouldn't change the shape, apart from it would be a lot taller on the screen there. Okay, so this 30 degrees is quite a sharp angle, and it must be this bit at the front here. I'm going to show you what happens when I change it to 90. So you can either do it by dragging this thing around, or you could actually type a number in there. Okay, so this is a 10, 90, 10. So the angle here is 90, and I've got a 10 units in this direction and 10 units in that direction. So that's a really good way of making triangles. It's a good way of making right angle triangles, which are handy for your project, I think. This would be good for sort of making some shapes, but you might decide that you want some shapes that are like having some slope going to them, like as a pool depth or something like that. So the way you would handle that is you would have to rotate this thing. I don't have the option to center this, unfortunately, which would make this a bit nicer, but let's move on anyway. So I'm going to pick up this rotation. Where are you? Pick up that and put it around here. So remember, I've got three ways I can rotate it. So I want to think about what skewer I would want to use as a rotation. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to use this sort of green line and try to rotate it around that green line. So that green line there, if I zoom out a bit, I can see that's the y-axis. All right, so I'm going to try to rotate that by, I'll do 90 degrees in the y-axis and see what I get. Okay, so it's not quite done what I want. I would like the slope to go the other way, but it's pretty good. So if I did it 270 degrees, I think I'd get what I'm after.